Back in May of 1988, a pretty interesting time of peak consumerism and lingering Cold War tension, a speaker laid out this really powerful and, frankly, radical vision for humanity. He called it the Principle of Utopia. And today, we're going to dive right in and unpack its pretty challenging ideas. Okay, so let's get into it. The speech kicks off with this incredibly provocative statement. I mean, this isn't just a small critique. It's a direct shot at the very foundation of our modern world. It immediately makes you stop and ask, wait, what is this illusion he's even talking about? So what was this utopia supposed to fix? To really get the vision, you first have to understand the problem as the speaker saw it, and that's where we're going to start. So the whole vision really begins with a diagnosis. The argument is that the root of our modern sickness is a deep-seated, all-consuming materialism. He argues that, for all our incredible scientific and technological progress, we're essentially living a lie. By focusing only on the physical, tangible world, we've completely ignored the existence of the soul, the spiritual reality that he believes is the foundation for everything. Wow. I mean, this line really illustrates his point, doesn't it? He's basically saying that if all our knowledge, all our science, our entire intellectual framework completely ignores spiritual truth, then it's not just incomplete, it's essentially worthless. It's just a collection of junk that misses the entire point of why we're here. Okay, so if the big problem is a crisis of materialism, what's the solution? Well, this brings us to the first pillar of the whole plan, a call for a new age of spirituality. And look, this isn't just a friendly suggestion, it's framed as an urgent necessity. The speaker sees the coming global crises not just as random disasters, but as part of a grand production, a sort of divine play designed to shake humanity awake from this materialistic dream and push us into this new spiritual age. So from there, he takes this big critique of materialism and he applies it right to the very heart of our society, our economy. And this is a really provocative claim. He says that an economy that's only about profit-seeking is basically a form of modern-day idolatry. He even compares it to Baal worship, the ancient practice of worshiping a false god. But in our time, the idol isn't some golden statue. It's the numbers on a spreadsheet. And this is where he lays out his alternative. And it's a brilliant way to think about it. He suggests there are actually two kinds of currency operating in the world at all times. On the one hand, you've got your regular earthly currency, profits, numbers, material stuff. But on the other hand, there is a spiritual currency he calls God's light, and that is what holds the real, lasting value of what we do. So what is this light? Well, he describes it as a kind of spiritual bank account. Every time you do something that aligns with a higher purpose, with God's will, it's like making a deposit. And the best part? This account doesn't just pay off in the afterlife. He argues it actually shows up right here, on Earth, in very real ways, like in your health, your success, and just having an excellent character. Society's values, the speech turns inward. It provides a pretty clear three-step roadmap for personal transformation, for building what he calls a utopia of the heart. So the path to this inner utopia is laid out in three fundamental stages. It all starts with a simple will to change, then moves to absorbing and actually living the truth, and it all culminates in a profound spiritual awakening. And he really stresses that this first step is the absolute non-negotiable starting point. Without this initial desire, this powerful resolve to change, what he calls bodhicitta, no real spiritual progress is even possible. You have to want to begin the construction project on yourself. The idea here is that we start life with a kind of spiritual inheritance, these travel funds, but we just waste them. So step 2 is all about replenishing those funds by studying spiritual truths. But it doesn't stop there. This knowledge has to be fully internalized until it's just second nature. And then it has to be shared with others through natural action and evangelism. And this is the ultimate goal of the personal journey. It's not just about saving yourself. It's about achieving a state of enlightenment, becoming a bodhisattva or a tathagata right here in this lifetime so that you can guide and save others. So you've done all this inner work. Now what? Well, that brings us to the final crucial piece of the puzzle, taking this profound inner transformation and using it to prove something to the entire world. You see, the goal was never just personal enlightenment in a vacuum. The whole point is to apply these spiritual principles to our social structures, to our businesses, our communities, and to prove, right here in our three-dimensional reality, that they actually work. It's all about creating a living testament to their power. So the ultimate mission then is to demonstrate that these invisible things, the very qualities our materialistic world so often dismisses as soft or impractical, are actually the most powerful and valuable forces in existence. The challenge is to build a better society that runs on this currency of character, not just capital. To describe our current condition, the speaker uses this powerful metaphor. He says we are all walking around in a heavy, clanking suit of iron armor. That's our materialism, our ego, our spiritual ignorance. It's a burden that restricts our every move. And so, we're left with this challenge, the speech's ultimate call to action. It's not just some philosophical idea. It's a direct question posed to every single one of us. How do we shed this armor and achieve true spiritual liberation?